is that we normally don't talk to the boy child. We don't know how they feel, and I want their perspective to find out how they're feeling about single parenting, especially about me, and about not having a family. When I say not having a family, like growing like MXOLISI now is able to bring without the extended family. We are family, and how we also feel of being the four of us, and what we've learned from each other, and what this journey of us being as it is has taught us. The question that I can ask is, firstly, on the 22nd actually of December, which is my birthday, we had a beautiful day, and I got compliments about parenting, and I feel like you guys feel hard on Lani, even if it's not here, and MXOLISI, you are the one that built my character. You're the one who guys made me to be the strong person that you think I am. And I don't know if there's anyone who wants to contribute to that.
I think you can speak to how we've changed more, but I think you can speak to how we changed more, but it was a good day, and I think it was just a time to reflect, I guess, on the positive parts of how you've parented us so far, and I don't think it ever felt like we didn't have a family per se. It's like if something's never in your life, you wouldn't realize it's missing, I guess. So.
Yeah, I want to touch that on you actually a bit, because we have slightly different experiences with extended family. But I just want to say about Mommy saying she's learned from us. I realized on that day, and as we're getting older, that a funny thing happens with like parents and their kids, where the parent will raise the child, and then at some point, it's almost like the kids are also raising the parent, and then it's this back and forth thing. It was reminding me of God actually, the triad, where it's God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. It's three separate but also one and the same. Whereas a parent and child are two separate entities, but we very much become the same thing, and we're teaching and learning from each other at any given moment. So at some point it becomes hard to realize, did you teach us this, or did we teach it to you, or did you teach us this seed which we grew and then taught back to you? So I think it becomes a nice little circle, and I think it's made that way. I mean, we can even see with age itself, when a baby and an old person are like the same thing. A baby's taken care of, and then you become an adult, you grow, and then you become an old person, and then you need to be taken care of again. So it's a nice little circle of life. So I think you definitely spark the seeds that we would then go on to kind of pull back into. So I think it's both. And talking about the family thing, I always wondered, like, with our granny, it doesn't seem like you feel much for her. You don't feel anything much there, but there's a 13-year age difference between you and I. So I had a bit of an experience of an extended family. So whereas you don't necessarily miss it or feel much there because you never really had it, even that little bit for me is something that at times I will miss. Like I will miss my grandmother. I'll miss the experiences I had with her when we spent Christmas at a friend's place just now, seeing the matriarch of the family with her children and the grandchildren and the cousins and everything. I was saddened at different moments because I imagined my grandmother sitting there. Yeah, she had a grandson just sitting there watching TV with her. For a split second, I wished I could have done that, but you have a different experience, I guess.
It's interesting. I never, that whole day, I don't think I thought about grandmothers. I didn't think of, my grandmother, I don't know. It was really sweet to see though. It felt like sort of just a very different experience. Like it was very that one day, but it is interesting the difference. Like, I genuinely didn't think about her. So,
what was it for you? It's like, you felt all
I
of it.
think because of she called me a week. Well, actually, it's not a week before.
Your mother?
Yeah, on the 21st. Yeah, it is on the 21st because my birthday was the following day. And experiencing that is the same person and that I'm going through the same toxic situation, and I had to make a conscious decision that, you know what, let go. And on the 25th, I just felt sorry for her, and maybe once, but I was in the moment. I enjoyed the family that invited us. I enjoyed having that big family, you know, laughter, and being with you guys and seeing how you could gel with other people, because normally it's the four of us, and how the reception was. So I don't know, I think I'm at a point now that I had to choose myself, and I have to choose you guys, and I'm okay. I was okay, and I think we've created our own families, and it's where they say family is not only blood, and I've realized that's true, and it has shown with us. Family, it's literally not only blood, because the people that have stood with us through thick and thin, it's literally people that are not blood related to us, you know. And during these exams, who stood by us? Other people, like friends, his friends, and you can see that they're not faking it. And it's where I feel like we are blessed when people, you know, I said to you the other day, so that I think we were talking about blessings, or we were talking about like how the society relates blessings and with material things. And I feel I'm blessed beyond measure, and seriously, to have you guys and people that are around us. It's a handful of people, but they're genuine. I'd rather have authentic people than have fake friends, you know. And it's what I've learned. We know how to choose, or God helped us to choose friends that we have, and that stood the test of time. And I always praise the friendships that we have, and even on Christmas Day, it's a friend, and we became family. And I said to you the other day that I just see us, when we're okay, going to her mother, you know, saying, we're coming to cook for you, we're coming to spend days with you, we get, you know, such things. It's family that the circumstances has created for us, and I'm okay to let go of my blood family, because it's been really, really toxic and heartbreaking. So I've shut that door, and I'm okay. And it took me years that I can speak about them without crying. And actually, sometimes we even spend weeks or even months not talking about them, and that, I think, it's healing for me.
yeah, I think, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, like, sort of, when you just ignore them, they can kind of go away. I think, like, if you, I think, don't pay attention, or you don't give attention to stuff like that, like family or people that you just don't want in your life,
crash back on you in future. So it's important, yeah, to work through it and then move on with the sincerity, and then you can just kind of put it out of your mind. But I think it hasn't been ignoring from our part. We've had countless conversations about these people, have gone through numerous scenarios with them, so I think it's a genuine letting go at this point. But yeah, it's an interesting life to have lived, I guess, family-wise, because now we're brought up as your children, respecting the sanctity of family so much. So on portion, on one hand, you see how crucial family is, and on the other hand, it's letting go of this family because it's not worth it there. So I think, yeah, for me, it's been that balance, knowing how important family is, that you never give up on family, but then this family, you need to make peace with giving them up, yeah.
Yeah, family isn't sort of above respecting each other as human beings and stuff.
Yeah, I think also what you guys are saying, the society forces us to stay in toxic situations, stay in an unhealthy environment just because of being blood related. And as Jose says, it's not ignoring, but it took years. I'm 55 now. It took years that the same cycle, the same thing happens over and over again. But sometimes we give people so much power, to dictate how we live, to be miserable and all that. And with our journey, I've realized that, material things also dictate to people, and we are okay as long as we've got each other. For me now, my peace is more than anything. Peace, love, and empathy, but not to force myself where I'm not really, how do I put it, accepted, not to force myself where over and over again the mission is to hurt each other, because people will find that it's a lifestyle. We must always argue, we must always hate each other. I can't live like that. Unfortunately, I'm done. That life, I'm done. And it's so funny that people won't understand without even hearing anything. But we're always laughing. We're always, I think, we love each other, and it's not forced. It came naturally. The other day I said to you guys, I would really choose you. If they say I must choose again the children, I'll choose the same set of children, or with the same people that I'm in picture then. Not because of I don't have any relationship with them now, but the combo, I think it did something magic. You guys are gentlemen. You guys are loving. You guys, I don't know, you command presence, and it comes effortlessly, effortlessly. So I don't know if it's me or, God has really blessed me when coming to that.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of parents who feel
The way
about
children.
I mean, yeah, I do think we are, I guess, I think everyone feels like they're unique though, but I do think we are, we're good at what we want to be good at. I think what we sort of view as good morals and a good way to present ourselves, I think we're good at doing that. I don't know if everyone thinks the same way, but we try, I think, to be gentlemen and all that stuff. And it is interesting that you can grow up without a paternal sort of presence, and then still sort of come out in what we would, I think, consider as like gentlemen, and especially when you hear in the news how men treat other women and stuff like that, it sort of makes you think like, it's interesting just how complex, I guess, and how many nuances there is to becoming a conventional gentleman, I guess.
Yeah, I think what we do is simply to try. I mean, I don't think we're necessarily Pearson from This Is Us. This was a man who struggled with alcoholism. He was also kind of closed off. He wasn't emotionally open, didn't share necessarily with these kids about his upbringing and stuff. So there's a few things about him that are a bit negative, you know, but he seems like the perfect father, he seems like the perfect man, and that's always because he tried. I think of him, I can never expect someone to be perfect, but I think what every human being wants from someone in their life, whether it's a parent or a kid or a husband or wife, is to see that you're trying. Like if someone's an addict, like you keep supporting them if you see that they're trying. This addiction has its grip on them, but they are trying. So for me, that's all I ever ask for, and that's what I'll try to do myself, is just to constantly kind of try to be better. I'll never be perfect, but I see that with you and NONHLI as well. It's just an effort to do the simple things correctly, to not hurt another person. A lot of these things are actually easy. It's not doing something, not hurting someone, not speaking badly about someone, simple things. And I think how we've been raised is that each to their own, very non-judgmental. I believe everyone should be able to do whatever they want in the world as long as they aren't hurting another human being. And that's what I try to do myself. So if you live that way, I think it'll keep you from stepping on other people's toes. It takes a lot to go out of your way to hurt someone else.
And I always say, you do mention not to intentionally hitting other people, because they are, and I grew up in an environment when people are intentionally and they feed from hating someone else, and that I try to reverse, that don't go out of your way to hate someone and get joy from seeing that person hating. Nah, that for me, and it's unfortunate that when a person is bitter, they do that, and that's unfortunate, but everybody carries their own cross.
Yeah, so that's another rabbit hole, is deciding where to, how much empathy to afford someone. You can over-empathize with someone because no one is born a beast or a terrorizer. Usually it's something that has hurt them, something that they've experienced or in which they've been brought up, which causes them to either fight back or want to exercise that power on someone else. And so I know you and I got into some arguments over your mother because I think I was overextending empathy towards her, and maybe your sister sometimes. Maybe that's something I struggle with, but there's always they were morphed, this was a creation that happened here. It wasn't an overnight thing, it was a creation, but I guess even if it is a creation, when that creation is constantly hurting you and now threatening your children, you do have to take a stand and cut ties. And like you always say, at some point you have a choice, and there's always a road to choose. So at some point as you grow up, you realize the choices you're making, and then if you continue down that road, I don't think empathy can be continued to be given to you.
Yeah, when I'm hearing you guys go back and forth with empathy, I think it was it's neither, it wasn't both extremes. I think maybe we're too extreme. I think there's a point, you said, where empathy sort of needs to stop or not get in the way of seeing the overwhelming sort of hurt. But there's I think, or I found there's a healing of sorts that you can get from understanding why someone did it, because especially when someone does something that's so unexplainable, that's so sort of inhumane, when you can understand why they did it, not agree with it, but understand why they did it, I think it makes it feel a bit more that's you couldn't, that's you, whatever. I can separate myself and not feel necessarily empathetic for you or what you're doing, but I get it, and I can now sort of not spiral about what did I do wrong, what is wrong with me. I think, I'm sure, probably all three of us have thought about it with our fathers, there's something that had to have gone wrong with him mentally.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't sort of look at that, then there's a lot of sort of survivor's guilt, I guess, that can come out of sort of not trying to understand someone who's hurt you.
Yeah.
You can sort of think a lot about, oh, what did I do wrong? Was I a bad child? Was I this? Was I that? I don't know if you thought of that, but like early on.
Yeah, I think I was actually, you mean for me, my upbringing, I was my mom, I would do anything to please my mom. And I realized it very late because it was out of guilt that she brought us up, she did this. You know, when you feel like, and I always say, don't base your future trying to please me. Be your own person. So I was like pleasing her, like, oh no, she brought me up, she did this for me, we would like, you owe this person. And that is when it brings guilt. Yeah. And you don't do things because of you want to do them. It's out of fear. And you become so scared, like your life, your future really can be impacted very badly because of that. Yeah. Because whatever you do, you don't do it naturally, but you're fearful and it's out of guilt. So, and I don't think even my siblings thought one day I'll really be able to cut ties to say, no, I'm done, you know. And also, I also can't believe that I did that, and that it brought so much peace that I had to, because now it was filtering also to you guys, and that I couldn't handle. And I made a conscious decision that how I was brought up or what things that I hated, I won't even repeat. Not that I'm perfect, there's no manual. And as Sipho says, and you said, yeah, you can feel sorry for that person, but if it keeps hurting me, I must feel sorry at a distance. That I feel sorry for you, but really I can't be the slave to my life, like really, because this life is actually meant to be lived. It's a journey, and I don't want. I made a conscious decision that I'm not going to live the rest of my life being unhappy. I'd rather stay without material things but being happy and at peace. That for me is very important. Yeah. So I had to make that decision. I'd rather really like to please somebody else for the rest of my life. When am I going to live my life? Yeah. Because everybody has lived, she has lived a life, and you guys must live your own lives. That is why I said, when you base on what you want in the future, don't say you want to do it for my mom. Yes, I brought you up alone, but don't do it for me.
Did you, because you kind of broke away from your mother at what age, like in your 40s?
Actually, I think, yeah, it was back and forth. But I think that when I made that decision, it's when we were coming back from India, 2018. I was head to the extreme. Was it India? I think I called you when I was at Dubai.
Brazil?
No, India. We made a connection flight to Dubai. Brazil was 2017, 2018. And the way the treatment was so horrible. And just for me to actually asking her to make peace with my sister, like it backfired so badly because she doesn't want peace. And yeah, I made a decision to break away in 2018. I can't remember how it was.
So you must have.
Late 2018. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. It's when I felt, I can't. This is just heartbreaking. I'm done. And remember going overseas with her, I didn't want, but you convinced me. And you said, maybe she has changed, maybe do it for her, maybe creating me. But I didn't want because I knew how she is, you know.
Yeah.
So,
did you feel like when you cut off and just looking back over your life and your relationship with her, did you feel like a regret over having lived a lot of your life to please her, and have you been able to like get over that regret now? I'm
trying to make peace because I realized honest, through the spiritual sort of journey, or what I'm trying to, with the gratitude, I'm trying to let go of guilt and let go of what happened, and try and get lessons from everything. Yeah. Because I'm 55, so it means I'm going to regret almost 50 years. So now I've made peace with it. What I've learned, I don't want to hurt people that I love the same way as she did. And we had this conversation before. I'm confused whether she loved me or not. And I don't know whether it was love, whether it was manipulation, so I know she loves me, but I'm confused that she loved me the way she said she did. And that broke actually our family, because the way she said she loved me. So I'm confused.
Like the root of love, from what I experienced in you two, was sincere. At its root, that love was sincere, but then somewhere along the line she saw that she could manipulate that love and she could use it as a tool, and maybe that started to overshadow the sincerity. But there'll be moments, I have some pictures of you two, there's moments where I see the two of you, where it is, to me, a genuine love. But obviously, as human beings, you have certain instincts and certain things that can pollute things like love, very human things that pollute stuff like that, like how you may love your wife, but your jealousy can pollute that and make you start to beat her and stuff, even though the root of that love is sincere. So from my point, I think she loved you. But I also want to ask, when you look at your relationship with her, is it all painted black now, or do you still remember and hold memories of like good, sincere times you had with your mother? Or has too much happened where it's a blur and a mess of pain now?
I don't know. There are good times, but I feel it was performance. Because it was performance actually, because I still remember when we were going to Brazil, so they organized different cars to fetch us, and we met, I think, no. It fetched me before, and then we fetched her, and we met at, I can't remember, but yeah, in the car going to the airport, she was saying, take a video, take pictures, post on social media so that they can see you, like my siblings must see me. And I knew exactly who she was referring to. So it was, and I didn't like that because I don't do things to hurt people. And so it was performance-based. Most of the time, what I can recall with her, whatever we did, it was just to upset.
Why did she choose you to do the upsetting with? Because everyone knew that she loved you the most?
Because I was fearful of her, and I did. And remember, I think what also did this is when she was divorcing, I took her side. I did, literally took her side.
I think also one of the good memories of her is when your father was shooting at her and you came and stood in front of her or something. And
I closed the door. I
you closed
negotiated.
the door. Yes.
When she closed the door, I negotiated not to be killed.
So that, when she tells that story, the look in her face there, that is where I think she genuinely loves you. And I see what that meant to her. I think there's a sincerity in that, you doing that in that moment, that really, it marked something for her in terms of you as her daughter. And maybe that was a catalyst for her, but I think she already loved you before that. But seeing her talk about that has always stuck in my mind, that it undercuts any of the games she's playing when she speaks about that moment. It meant a lot to her.
That's not
love. I don't know. I don't think, maybe it's just because we expect love to sort of be expressed in a certain way. But I think there's very different scales, and we speak now as though she, in her head, was thinking dilute it and make it so much more complex than just does she love you or does she not love you. I don't think it's so black and white. I think and it's like that thin line between love and hate. I think you can love someone, and love, I don't think you can choose to love someone. I don't personally think that. And I think you can love someone but still hurt them. And I think the fact that everything she does, like manipulation, that's a choice. All the other stuff is a choice, but loving isn't a choice. So I don't think we can expect it to appear in the same way. We don't expect it to sort of show in the same way. And I think, I don't think like the fact that if she loves you or not, I don't think that for me is something that I don't want to say matters so much, but like I don't think it changes as much. I think for me at least the most like sort of fascinating or the most like point of actual thought that I think of is like what went wrong, like I said earlier, like that made her like this. Because I do think that she did love you, but I think it's so insignificant because of what she did that it sort of, it makes it a lot bigger than just like loving and not loving. And I know you have something to say before. I was thinking of earlier you said like not doing stuff for you in the future, and I think it's a weird thing because I really do understand what you're saying and not to like live for you or like, you know, stuff like that. But also there's a part of me that really does want to do stuff for you because you like did everything for us, and I think it's like it's not to say it's not a it's not like it's not like a sort of, I know the job of a parent is that the child can sort of go and be their own person, but I do think it is just like a important thing to keep your parents in mind, like the good ones at least, like to sort of think about it, because I think it does direct much of what you do the same way when you had Swaziland and us onwards, having kids directed a lot of what you do. Not that you sort of lost your life in it, but it should. I think it should change your life, and it's okay. It's okay for us to sacrifice for you, as much as it's not like nice to be on the receiving end of sacrifice, because obviously you just want us to sort of live our own life. But I think it is important that we do live with us, the other three, in mind, I think, and especially you, to like when we do succeed, it's for us, yes, but it's for all the sacrifice that you gave, and it's because of all the sacrifice that you gave that I think we're there. So I do think there's a bit of like there is a place for doing stuff for, and I mean my trick word was selflessness is the best form of self-love, because I do think when you give back to people who have given to you or people who need to be given to, I think you feel better yourself. So I think there is a healthy amount of sacrifice isn't a good word, because sacrifice I think has negative connotations, like yourself taking away, but to give back, I think, to give back when you have sort of the opportunity and the will within you to give back, I think is important.
I get you. I was just saying that you guys mustn't live your life based on satisfying me. Make your own choices. Yes, I do expect you guys to spoil me. That I definitely do, and I know, you know. And every time when you listen to social media, they always critique how boys that are raised by single mothers, how they grow up, how like you have to have a father figure, and like it's a must. And unfortunately, you guys, I don't know how the society perceive this or see this, because you didn't ask not to have a father figure. So how does it work? Do you force yourself? Do you, because I think you tried, and when you get rejected, there's a point where you say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, grow up with both paternal and maternal is ideal, but there's not a lot of things that work out ideally, and you have to make the most of what you have and where you are. And I think you have done that exceptionally, but for there to be judgment, I guess, against that doesn't make sense to me, because it's not an ideal world. And like you say, what do you do when you don't have a father? You don't have a father, you know. That's that. You can't do anything when like a girl breaks up with a guy and they're like, go fight for her. I don't like that, because what's he gonna do? She doesn't want to deal with it. Yeah, you're gonna force a relationship. I was gonna fight for it. But yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm not on social media, so I don't know what points exactly they're making. But what are they saying about boys with single mothers, that they have some sort of a deficiency? That they are fully fledged.
It's the things that you can only be taught by a male figure.
Yeah, fair. I think like at a certain point when I was growing up, I think it was me and you for a while. I didn't have an older brother. So there were certain ages, certain places in my life, I'm reaching certain ages where there was a longing for a male role model, because man's like now needing to man up and step up in certain ways that I don't think my mother can teach me. But you find a way around it, man, and you have to. And I don't think it makes me any less of a man. I think I'm actually more suited as a man because I've been raised by a woman. Because not only am I just naturally a male, but now I'm blessed with a sensitivity. I'm more well-rounded than I think a lot of guys who maybe have fathers might be. So I don't think it's a deficiency at all. I think it's a different way of growing up. I think maybe certain things that you need to learn may take a little bit longer. You might maybe burn your fingers and have to try things out, whereas if you had a father, they'd be able to tell you 1, 2, 3, but I think you get there in the end. I think you do, and I think it makes you appreciate manhood even more, and when you get your chance to be a father, you'll take that seriously, more seriously than our fathers did in any case.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think, it didn't feel like there was a deficiency, and this year I spent a lot of time with my friends and their families, and I think, it's just different. It's just like a different sort of dynamic than what we have, but it's not like a deficiency. And I don't know, social media, there's people on both sides that will say both things, but yeah, it's not like it's not a loss. And I remember when my father came and we saw him, it was interesting because I was just like looking at him and like I was like searching my mind for like a feeling, like to find some sort of like specific feeling, and I just didn't feel anything towards him. I thought it would be like a movie where they're like either strong hate or like strong love, but I didn't feel a feeling, and I think that's just what it is. It's like, what if we say the base of the world is not having a father, and then you have an additional father? There's no saying that I don't feel like I'm at a disadvantage because this is my base, this is my foundation. And I don't feel necessarily like they're at an advantage, other people with fathers, because they have one. And I think also because not having a father is quite common, unfortunately, like it is, especially like, it's not even like a race-specific thing. It's become like just a common thing that fathers don't show up for their kids in the way they should. So I never felt alone in that as well, I think. And there's many sort of broken families or families that don't sort of have unity and stuff like that, that do have fathers and extended families. So I never really, I never took it, I guess, in the sense that there's sort of some deficiency or like, oh, I'm missing this. I think maybe when I was younger, there was some certain stuff where I could think, oh, I could have been taught this by my father, or like, am I more like feminine or whatever? I
think so too, but I was going to say that's turned into a bit of a cool that said this is what a man looks like, because we've been able to find our own way into who we are, you know, and there's maybe a feminine touch there, maybe mommy says I'm aggressive, I don't know where that comes from, probably. But to have femininity and aggression, which I think comes from...
Please clarify aggressive, they mustn't think aggressive by healing.
No.
When you
just like a rough touch, yeah.
In their house, like you break stuff.
I think that there's a fluidity that we didn't like see a man in the house every day and say, okay, that's how a man sits, like this is how he talks. That we can sit how we want to sit, because we want to sit like that, not because we've seen like a father or an uncle sit like that, and now we can just do what we're comfortable with. Whether or not the classic male does that or not, I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's like this fluid beings. And
yeah.
we just sort of
just be.
Yeah, and talking about that, the strength, like confidence. Yeah, I'll talk about you. You're so, like, and you're really independent. I think it's something people that don't know about you. Independent and confident, and as you say, you didn't need, and you saw your father, I think, once or twice in how many years? 15 years. Now you're even finishing matric, you finished matric, and the last time when we divorced, you were starting grade R. Now you finished matric. And you tried, you promised that I'm coming, hang up the phone, you know, and you've learned to be so independent and confident. And also, all of you, the three of you, there's this strength and this peace and this adjustment to situations. I don't know, where does it come from? Because I think all four of us have got that we don't even understand where it comes from. We adjust easily, we don't need validation, actually. We don't need validation. Like, people perform, even on social media, just for validations. How many likes they get, how many this. You guys don't. You really comfortable in your own skin. Why can that? I don't know.
I think we just sort of, everyone sort of has their own different flaws, I guess, and problems, and we were lucky that the situations came. I think we were like, we were
lucky with less bad situations.
But I don't view it like that.
I understand. Yeah.
Like sort of our mental situation, like we're lucky to just have been in the environments that we've been that have morphed us into being what we are now to suit the situation we're in. I think there's many people who have just different they just have different flaws to us that maybe make them more susceptible to stuff like social media and stuff like that. But I don't think, I think we're lucky that we have this mentality for the situation, but I don't view us as that like different, I guess, if that makes sense. It's just sort of every person has their own unique flaws and their own unique way of handling, and unfortunately, like you don't know how you'll react to a situation, and it affects all of us differently. Like you guys have dealt with mental health in a very different way than I ever have, and I think that's just how it is. It's just brain chemistry. Like there's nothing particular about me, I think, that made me stronger necessarily. I think I just handled it in a different way. My subconscious or whatever it is just took it in a different way, and I think, yes, we are, the confidence and stuff like that and the adaptability, it's a very helpful trait when we go through sort of struggles, but there's other stuff I think we still need to sort of improve on. Obviously, like anyone, just grows with time.
Yeah, I think that's how I look at it too. It's like it's a constant growth. Like people say, man, adventure of growth, and at some point I realized that no one knows what's going on really. No one knows what's happening here, and we're all doing this for the first time, so we're all kind of trying, all kind of navigating our way through, and that helps me to look at everyone with empathy and also regard myself with empathy and just like take it a day at a time and keep learning every day, don't be so harsh on yourself, and in the same breath just figure it out. Like a lot of what we've been doing has been figuring it out on the way, and the more you do that, the more confidence you have in yourself that regardless of what happens tomorrow, you'll figure it out, you'll adapt to it. So the struggle gives you a quiet confidence that doesn't need you to go on social media or whatever, like you know you can handle it most likely, whatever's happening. I think that's one of the beauties of struggle. One of the blessings we've had is that there's a real quiet confidence that even with nothing, no matter what happens tomorrow, I think that God and I will figure a way through this. And that gives you a confidence, it gives you an adaptability, and it allows you to take things on the chin and just keep moving, figuring it out. And there's a hope, I think, it just kept us going, that things will be okay. Even on the worst days, at the end of the night, you can have a laugh, a prayer, and go to bed. So if that's worst case scenario, there's always an inkling that it's gonna get better from this. I think we're all silently holding on to that there's a knowing inside that that's what's coming. So.
I think also our unity also makes it easier. Our unity and love. And sometimes I think also the unity of you, the three brothers, because sometimes you gang up against me, If I say something, you gang up against me. Sometimes I get irritated, but at the back of my mind, I'm like, that's good that you guys got that unity. And I think it's unity also that keeps us going. And I've learned different things from you, different guys, From MXOLISI, I've learned to live in the present, and he's outspoken. Goli is outspoken, he is really outspoken, and to live in the present, not to sweat the small stuff that I've learned from you, and thank you for that. From Seho, I've learned calmness, like I can scream at him, he'll just, all of you like that, you don't, sometimes we'll talk, not talk back, we'll just, how do I put it, try and show me his view. I'd say, calm, like calmness, when I'm up there, he tries to, he just looks at me, doesn't even talk back or anything. And also, I think you had to be a firstborn. The time I fainted twice here, I'm your mother, and we with Rolani is shaken so much, but you try to calm the situation. Every time when I wake up, you're there, calm down, try and breathe, try and, and after I'm thinking, I'm also his mother, and that he could have just cried, and leave me or whatever, not leave me, but try and get some help, but you trying to help the situation, but your calmness and also being there for your brothers, that's a good trait that you have. Rolani, what I've learned from him, he's also calm, and that sense of humor that we always would laugh, He's really, really calm, and he doesn't talk a lot, but determination, if he wants something, he will really, really go for it to achieve. And that, even you're not faced. 2 days ago, or whatever, you said to me, for sure, you're going to university, and you definitely you're going to be okay. And I wouldn't ask anything from you guys. The love that you show me every day, use the minimum and make the most out of it. You know, minimum, make the most out of it, you know. And yeah, life has thrown us the worst that like cancer, now it was fainting because of, I don't know, I take physical, when the situation, but I'm trying, and I think I'm doing very well these days. I'm trying to say, you know what, bring it on, I'll be okay, and it's because of you guys. Thank you for loving me without any judgment. Without any judgment.
I don't know. Adaptability, I was thinking when you're saying like adapting to the situation. I don't know if it's like us specific. I think if you force someone in a situation, like we didn't have a choice. We didn't have any choice.
It's God's magic and here comes out.
Yeah, it just sort of, it's sink or swim. But to say sink or swim, and then what am I referring to when people say, what you I don't think there's like a sink option. I think like you just swim in the waters you're in. Unfortunately, some people have tougher waters, and I that's why sometimes when you get into sort of debates with certain people, they like compare traumas.
Yeah.
Like if you say, oh, I've been through this, then they want to sort of one you and stuff like that. And I think it's very sort of futile to think that way, because there's so much different ways that a situation can affect you. And that's why they say like the thing with more money, more problems. Like, you can get money, you can get the success, you can get the job, but the problems are just different. Like it's not.
Yeah, and the situation doesn't always equate to the amount of pain a person is feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they've gone through something more severe, but it didn't hit them as much.
Exactly.
Or go through something lesser and it just rocked them completely.
So yeah, I think it's adaptability is interesting, but yeah, I think like you said, all of the traits we have, it's from you, and I think definitely. Yeah, it is, I think definitely from you. I don't think there's anything you said there that you haven't displayed yourself, like the calmness when we're out and about. You're not rowdy. We're very like to ourselves and try and be reserved, and any confidence, you are a very confident person, any independence, you've been independent, you've had to fight for yourself, and the determination, that's just also, you've just had to do that, you've had to pick yourself up because you needed to, not because you wanted to, so that's just, I think, all from you as well, so I don't think we can take credit for all of the traits, but so thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, and 2026, it's going to be a good year. How, I normally say, I don't know how, but I know that it is going to be a good year, and for as long as we've got breath in us, we're moving on, we're moving on, we're taking a step every day, a step forward, we're not standing still, and some of my friends don't understand that I'm still laughing, I'm still, like, seriously, like, it doesn't make sense that you're being in the situation that you are, and you're still laughing, and you're still, like, seriously calm. What can I do? Because I'm hopeful, and I thank God for the hope that I still have, and I know it's not a full stop. We're moving forward, and it's because of you guys, and I love you.
I love you too.
You can like and subscribe us on UnMute with NONHLI on social media, on YouTube, and please follow me on my TikTok account, NONHLI, and there's more coming.